Hello YouTubers, how are we today, tonight, this afternoon, or whatever it may be for you? So, I apologize for that. One part of my alarm went off, and when it did, it knocked the video off, so I didn't recognize that. I'm learning more and more about this, so I went ahead and put this centerpiece on, which is where we had left off, and I went ahead and put the holes in it before I realized that you guys were gone. So anyway, not a big deal. At least you got the stitching right. So we're definitely going to do a back stitch here and a back stitch here to keep everything even. So we're going to come up from here, 1, 2, okay? We're going to even these up. We're going to start with the back stitch here, yeah? All right. Starting with the back stitch there. And the second one. And we will go back the other direction. So, again, come on the back side, come through, come on the back side, come in between the stitches, yeah? Pull this side out as you're pushing your stitch in to keep this from pricking. If it does prick the stitch as you're pulling out, you'll pull it off of the end. And then that way when you pull it like this, it won't get all caught up. Because if you don't do that, and you'll see, for you folks that haven't done leather before, you're going to put your, and you're not going to pull, and you're going to go to stitch, and it's going to get hung up, and it's going to stop. You're going to tug, and it ain't going to go anywhere, and the stitches aren't going to come out. And you're going to realize at that point what you did, and then you've just got to basically cut off your needles completely off, take them out, and take your stitching completely out. And sometimes when you do that, and then you'll have to pull, because one stitch will be going through the other one, through the middle, like that. And when you pull that out, it may leave a big gap, or just may not look good, especially if it's in the middle. And you may just have to pull everything out and restitch it, just depends on how it looks. So it's really going to be a kind of a judgment call. Anyway, that's why you take the precaution when you have already been through a hole before, whether you've been through it or not. Anytime you put your needle in, you pull out at the same time. And sometimes I just do it so fast that it doesn't look like that I'm doing that, but I am. I do it every time. Yeah. Because I've had my fair share of times where that I didn't. And I had a big knot, a big rat's nest. And the real bummer is if you're running low on thread and you haven't ordered any more, or you have ordered some and it's still a week out and you're down down to your last few pieces of thread where all of it is premium and you can't afford to waste any, and you pull a stunt like that, then your whole project's on hold. And then you've got to kind of put it aside and start another project, do something else. And if you had promised that project to somebody, like a customer, now you're going to have to go back and tell that customer, hey, I ran out of thread and I'm waiting on more thread to come in. I apologize for that. And hopefully they're understanding and don't ask for their money back. Because sometimes they're not as patient and understanding. But other times they are. It just depends. You'll find there are two gambits, people out there. Some that are really patient, and some people that are just impatient and hateful. And they just figure if you're in business, you should be bowing down and licking their shoes because they spent $15 or $20 with you. You think they'd spend $1 million with you. But that's the way it is. So, when you're in business, you have to realize that's always a situation that could always be the way it is. And you just have to accept it and move on. Not worry too much about it. Okay. Sorry if you hear me slurping my coffee. I know that's kind of rude. I'm trying not to do that. But I'm not sure if you heard that or not. But these microphones pick up so well that I can make the least little bit of noise and they pick it right up. That's why I don't talk real loud, because I don't want an annoying video where it sounds like I'm hollering at you. I want this to be an enjoyable ASMR type of video other than the occasional pounding. So there we go. Okay. So there we are. So we've got stitch, stitch, stitch. These are glued, not stitched. So this will get stitched, and that'll get stitched. This will get stitched. Because we don't want this to be this originally was designed where this was not stitched down. The original design was to leave that open. But I thought that was, to me, it was kind of worthless. And I couldn't understand what you would put back there. So I go ahead and close mine off so that it makes this like a hidden pocket. And then you can't poke anything through the other side. And it just, kind of keeps it as a hidden pocket. So you have a hidden pocket on this side, and on this side. And you can use those for cards or paperwork or things like fishing license, hunting license, pictures of your grandkids or things like that. So after those stitches go in, the next thing we want to do is going to be to stitch this area here for sure. So let's go ahead and mark this up. And the best way to do this is to draw just a tiny line right there, because we're not ready to go all the way across because we haven't sanded this part yet. We want to know how far down we come with this line. We want to come up. And then I like to match this side here. And so I go ahead